Oh, sorry. I didn't even realize it. Hello, everybody. Just give me a couple of minutes. I didn't realize my microphone was off. Just give me a couple of minutes, just to make sure that everybody gets onto the right track over here with me going live. I apologize for the delay. I don't know why it wasn't going for me at the time, but it's going now, and that's the best thing, I guess you could say. So, just give me a couple of minutes just to make sure that everything is working properly. I think everything should. Um, if anybody can please type in the chat, please do. I'm also gonna on my Facebook. I'm also going to send the link to where my live is right now. So just give me a couple of minutes, if you can, please. I appreciate. I definitely do appreciate the patience. I know it's been a while. I apologize. Um, is everyone able to hear me? Okay. Did I lose it? I don't think. No, I didn't. Okay. I wanted to make sure. All right, good. So someone can hear me. Just a couple of minutes. People so that way they know, and I'll post it on my Facebook, social media, and whatnot. So, um, how's everybody doing so far? Good. Everybody having a good night? No. Okay. So we have one person right now watching. What's going on, Joe? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Again, I apologize for the delay. I don't know what's going on. First time live streaming, so things get to be a little on the tricky side. So definitely doing the best that I can to make sure that I'm giving you the best product as possible. My internet is also very slow tonight too. Don't know why. Don't know why, but it happens. Copy link. I'm gonna post it on my Facebook real quick, just so that way people know. Oh, I can probably get more people. Any other comments? Any other people watching? So far, I've got one person. Oh, Kelsey's watching too. What's going on, Kels? Good to see you. Shout out to you. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. Sorry. Again, I apologize for the delay. I was not expecting this to happen. But you are tuning in. Thank you. Hopefully, we'll get some more people coming in too. If they come in late, that's fine. Um, I hope you all are having a good night. I hope everybody is for the NFL season to begin. I know it's been a lot going on. There's been a lot of off season stuff. Definitely been keeping busy. I'm actually doing 3 leagues this year in fantasy football. So I actually won my league last year. So I figured this might be the best opportunity for me to be able to uh, do a mock draft with you guys. If I'm able to, at least I should be able to share my screen. If not, just let me know. Um, Also, if you guys are on, just make sure, please hit on that subscribe button, leave a comment down below, like this video, make sure that you guys are doing all that. The more people that I can get to watch, the better. So just give me one quick moment because I want to make sure that I also want to be sure that I'm able to share screen as well. So, I mean, if you guys aren't familiar with live, live. If you want to be able to share your screen and stuff, and I found this out, you have to be able to use special software to be able to do that. And I'm using actually my software, so definitely trying that out for the first time. Probably not the best night to be trying it, but it happens to the best of us. So it is what it is. So, just give me a couple of minutes. Again, I apologize. I'm trying to ensure that that's happening. But yeah, I'm actually really excited for the NFL season. I think this is going to be a really good year. I think a lot of teams are really, um, there's a lot of really good teams this year, especially in the West. I think a lot of those teams are going to be very good. I think there's a lot of dark horse teams as well. So we definitely do have a lot of things going on. So, it's definitely going to be a great NFL season. I'm glad that I'm able to start this podcast this year and I'm able to do all the things that I've always wanted to do. So, you know, definitely. Fantasy football. So while we're waiting for me to do a mock draft, once I get everything situated, being able to share the screen. There is, I think, fantasy football is going to be a lot of fun this year. Definitely, something that I enjoyed doing for the first time last year. To be quite honest with you, I did this last year, fantasy football. Had no clue really what I was doing because I have never really done it before. So this is actually the second year that I'm actually doing fantasy. I'm doing it in a friends league. Um, yeah, Joe's already saying. In case you guys don't know, he says I'm be prepared to lose here. We'll see. I'm not. I'm definitely not getting ahead of myself yet. We'll see in terms of that. But there's a lot of really good players this year. As guys, I think really good players. A couple of things to keep in mind too when you are doing drafts. I would probably, if I were you, and you had a pretty early draft pick, I, in my honest opinion, I think you're better off probably trying if you're in a situation where you don't get the number one pick and like say if you're in a 10-man league, okay? If you're in a 10-man league and you are, let's say if you're seventh, eighth, maybe, um, if none of the wide receivers are taken in the first round, hold on. But there isn't any wide receivers taken in the first round or like really like the good ones. Like the top three ones I can think of right now at the top of my head is going to be Jamar Chase, Cooper Cup will be the two, Justin Jefferson. Like if any of those guys aren't taken in the first round, and most of the top running backs are like Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, McCaffrey, all those guys, if they're already taking like the top notch running backs, I think you're better off probably taking a wide receiver first, in my opinion. I think you would benefit from that a lot more with that, and then because if you're in a 10-man league and let's say you are seventh, you are going to get an early second round pick, and you should be able to be left with a couple decent running backs that are left that will probably have a breakout year this year. Sorry, I'm just trying to set some up here real quick. Okay. But yeah, I think your best option is definitely to draft a wide receiver this year. I think you definitely should if you have the opportunity to. I think wide receivers are going to be very crucial in fantasy this year. Normally running backs are, but if you think about it, really, the running game is really not as common anymore in the NFL as it used to be, or even really in football in general, because most of it now is quarterback pass. Wide receivers, tight ends, even players like Alvin Kamara, who's probably not going to will be a good draft for you, but I don't know if I would pick him right away, or at least if you're only left with him and you have to take him right away, that would probably be your best option to take Alvin Kamara. But you're not going to be able to play him early in the season because I believe he's supposed to be. I think he's supposed to be getting suspended this year for some games. I don't know how many at the top of my head. If someone wants to do some research on that or knows that better than me, please do. Okay, so it says that we should be connected. So, okay. Okay, so I should be able to share my screen now. Hopefully. It's just loading. So give me a minute, hopefully. So we have one person watching. Don't forget to subscribe in the subscribe button. Make sure you guys do leave a like, leave comments down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know what I should do better for next time, just to get ourselves better for the future, and we will do good. So I think we should be in the opportunity to do this now. Just give me 1 second. Okay. I don't know if anyone's seeing my screen. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Can you see my screen? I'm supposed to be sharing my screen. Are you guys able to see it? Let me know. No, you can't see it. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes these things definitely are very annoying. I don't know why it's not. Oh, let's see. Nope. Yeah, it's not. I was hoping it would. See, I'm able to see it on my software screen, but for whatever reason, I'm not able to. Don't know why. Don't know why. See, this is what makes things very complicated sometimes. You know what I mean? With these live streams, sometimes you're able to get it and sometimes you're not. So Joe says wide receivers and running backs early and often they fill their own spots and fill a need in the yeah, yeah, definitely. Especially wide receivers. I definitely think wide receivers are going to be very heavy. There's a lot of really good receivers that I think is going to be really, really crucial in the season. Like, forget about Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, like those guys. Like, think about like a Gabriel Davis. Gabriel Davis is definitely something that you really want to be able to, keep closely in mind with because, you know, Gabriel Davis has Josh Allen as his quarterback, and last season he actually ended up doing better than a lot of people expected. So, this for that. So I think no. I again, guys, I really apologize for this. I was really not expecting this to be having too many issues. That I was really hoping that I would be able to no problem, but it wouldn't be a live stream if none of this was able to happen. So I really do appreciate your patience. Um, yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. While you guys are waiting, just make sure that you subscribe on the subscribe button. Make sure you like this video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know who else is live. As much as I love my brother and sister-in-law, I definitely want to be able to talk to other people too. I see we got 5 people on. So guys, come out of your shells. It's okay. I don't bite, so definitely, definitely do that. Um, So while we're waiting for this to happen, and again, I apologize. Do you guys have any questions for me in terms of fantasy or certain positions that are going on right now or teams that are suffering injuries? Do you guys have any questions for me right now? If you do, just leave them in the comments down below. I'll be able to read them. I can definitely try to multitask a little bit. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to um, be able to stop by, drop them down below. Dark horse Super Bowl contenders. Um, that's a good one because I think there's quite a few of them actually. I think this might sound a little crazy, but at the same time, probably not too much. I think the Colts are definitely maybe a dark horse that could win. Um, and I think a lot of it would be Jonathan Taylor. I think that obviously that's the best running back in the league right now. But there are only some good underrated receivers that Ryan will do very well with this year. I believe they've got Paris Campbell too, who probably could surprise some people this year in terms of that. So that could be a good one too. The Colts, but they also have a very good defense. I think their defense is also going to be like in the top 5 this year, in my opinion, top 10, top 5, somewhere around there, lying around there. But that'll be something really cool to see. Thoughts on Deshaun Watson 11-game suspension? Um, I'm actually not really that shocked, to be honest with you, about it. I think Deshaun Watson. I think, without getting really too controversial about it. I kind of was expecting that something like that was going to happen. So, I mean, it is what it is at that point. But I think that really hurts the Browns now. I think that whole negotiating that deal with him the entire time is definitely going to come back and bite the Browns, which I think is actually, definitely revenge for players like Baker Mayfield, who was traded in early July to the Carolina Panthers. So, I mean, I think 11 games is fair. Personally, I really thought it was going to be another year. To be quite honest with you, 6-2, and I mean 11 games is enough. It also hurts the Browns a lot in terms of playoff contentions because they have all the talent around them. They have the best running game in the league. They have some underrated receivers. They're not the number 1 or number 2 top receivers in the league, but they're underrated. And I think Watson would be able to have good connections with them, especially with Amari Cooper. I think Amari Cooper is still with it in the NFL. And their defense is not crazy for their defense, besides Myles Garrett. But that's definitely going to hurt them a lot. They probably even might miss the playoffs this year because of that. So that was a really good question. Do they trade for Jimmy G now? Because that team is too good to just lose a season. I've seen a lot of. I've definitely seen a lot of articles about Jimmy G being traded to the Browns, and people think that should be a good idea. I mean, yes, I'm not opposed to that idea. I think Jimmy G could probably he's a good time manager, and he's not an elite quarterback. We all know that. But I like Jimmy G in terms of he's another Teddy Bridgewater a little bit. What I like about Jimmy G is very he's very good with time management. He's very good with how to run the clock down. He's able to do all the sorts of things that he's supposed to do. So I think trading him to the Browns really, honestly, if there's any team I think he really should be traded to, this is just my opinion. I don't think it's ever really going to happen, but if there is a team that I think he would best benefit from, it would definitely be the what do you call it? The Seahawks. And that's a division rival for most people, but at the same time, the Seahawks still have some good talent around them. Their defense. Their defense is going to be one of the worst this year, but I think Jimmy G would have more success with the Seahawks. I think DK Metcalf. I think he can connect with those guys very well. I think he could work under Pete Carroll's scheme quite well, honestly. And he's still in Division 2, so he's definitely have beaten some good teams. He can only get the wins when you need him to. But at the same time, though, I highly doubt that the Niners would probably do that. So, but that was a really good question. I like that question a lot. Thank you. Any other questions? You guys might have breakout rookies for this year. If I'm being honest with you, one of them would probably be. I think one of them would probably be George Pickens for the Steelers, in my opinion. I think what the Steelers do have right now versus, besides their quarterback issue, which they could probably win with Trubisky, or Kenny Pickett, I think they could win some games here and there. But what I do like about George Pickens is that he's having a pretty good campaign so far, so he could be one to really look out for this year in terms of rookies. Kyle Hamilton for the Raiders, the free safety for the not Raiders, I'm sorry, the Ravens. Um, Definitely had a great year last year in college as safety, and I think that Ravens defense is much improved. They definitely, while they didn't really do much in the offensive side of the ball, like in terms of helping Lamar out, they did do a good job with helping. But they did do a good job with helping that defense to ensure that that was revamped. So I think now the Ravens defense will be top notch. They should be probably back in the top 10 this year if everybody stays healthy. But I think their offense is still going to struggle a little bit, even with Lamar Jackson, because I think a lot of teams have them figured out now. I don't think he's going to be able to get away with like running around and scrambling around making plays or anything like that. So um, that's definitely one to keep in touch with. So I think Kyle Hamilton, George Pickens, even the Giants actually had a pretty good draft too. I think that edge rusher that they got could have a pretty good year too in terms of being able to get to the quarterback. They've definitely needed linemen for like the last 5 to 6 years. So I mean that's definitely good in terms of that goes. So I mean those are definitely some breakouts that I think could have a good year. So that's a good one too. All right. Any other questions? I see we have some people joining in. We got that like button. Thank you so much to who liked it. Thank you. Any other questions for me? I apologize. I'm still trying to get it going. I don't know why it's not working for me, but I'm doing everything I can. So I appreciate your patience. Any other questions? Just let me know in the comments. I'll be able to answer as best as I possibly can. Okay. Let me hear. Actually, why don't you guys actually type in the comments of your top 5 teams for this year, and I'll see if I agree or disagree with you. Top 5 teams this year. I'm actually going to be very intrigued by that because I want to see what the top 5 teams, what you guys think for this year. Top 5 teams in the NFL. I'll see if I agree or disagree with you. All right, we got 5 people, 6 people live. That's good. That's good. Wait here. Let me see if I can do this. Might try and do something that. Top 5 teams in the NFL this year. Who do you think they're going to be? Top 5 teams. All right. Okay, so Kelsey saying Bucks, Rams, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, no particular order. Oof. Okay. Okay, so I agree with the 4 teams, of course. I agree with the Bucks, Rams, Chiefs, and the Bills. I think they're definitely somewhere in the top 5. Ravens, I don't mean to burst your bubble. I don't necessarily agree with the Ravens. I think that defense is top five for sure. I think that defense is going to be so much better than it was a year ago. But I'm not particularly crazy for the Ravens this year. I think that I mean, really, it's not really so much Lamar that's the problem. It's really more of that offense. They just don't have anybody anymore to for Lamar to throw the ball to. You know what I mean? That really, really hurts their offense a lot. I mean, if you watched like games before of from the past in terms of his game and everything like that, I mean, a lot of the plays that he made, it's not always his fault. But he just doesn't have any receivers, and the only receiver that he was able to rely to last year was Marquise Brown, and he's no longer there. So I kind of see I can kind of see. No, I'm not saying he's not a serious playmate. I'm not saying he's not at all. He's definitely is. He could surprise people, and he could probably, win some games. Surprisingly, I mean, I think the coaching staff, the offense is more leaning towards more the run game. I just think it's not really so much his passing game. It's more so of the issue with not having like a number one or number two receiver. He's definitely a top 10 quarterback for sure. I definitely would agree with you on that. But I think just with that offense right there, besides Mark Andrews, who does he really have to throw the ball to? We don't really know a lot about the receivers that are playing this year, and we don't really know if they're really number one or number two receivers, like true receivers. So I mean, I get what you're saying though, but I don't necessarily agree with that. But I do agree. I think the Bucks, Rams, Chiefs, and Bills are definitely the four I would agree with. Just not the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens are. I just don't think they're really anything that special. And if they do pull some kind of season, they door teams like the Bengals and the Steelers, and possibly they could probably beat the Browns twice now because Deshaun Watson's suspended. I mean, those are definitely things that games that they could probably win, but they're all teams right now that have probably better rosters than the Ravens now on the offensive side of the ball. So we've got Bills number one, two Bucks, three Chiefs, four Rams, five Broncos. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think the Bills, the Bucks are definitely, number one and number two. That's fair. Chiefs, I would put the Rams before the Chiefs. That's crazy as that might sound. I would probably put the Rams before the Chiefs, in my opinion, if I was ranking my top five teams. And I'm saying that because the Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill. That definitely kills them a lot in the offense. He was one of those key players. He was like another Deshaun Jackson, where he would just be explosive. He would be able, if you had to find a receiver and you're given so much time and you need to throw a deep ball, Tyreek was the man to throw the ball to. He was like Deshaun Jackson for them. So top five could still be top five, but that's kind of it's a little tough. I don't think they're. I think they're still very good, and I think the reason why they would be good is because of Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelsey. Those are like the three people on that whole team. It would be why they would make the top five. The Broncos. Yeah, I mean, I like the Broncos, but there is a lot of questions about them. I mean, Russell Wilson is definitely the biggest puzzle to the biggest piece of the puzzle for the Broncos. They've definitely had some good talent around them over the last few years. That really where they really were struggling with the most was the quarterback position. So, I can see why you put them in the top five, but I don't know if those receivers are, overrated though. I think they have a good run game. I think Melvin Gordon and Javante Williams are two one of the best running back duos in the league. I think, in my opinion, I think Javante Williams could actually be a good fantasy pickup this year. If you're interested in doing that, I would definitely pick him up. Probably he's worth early round, or if you were wanting to draft a running back. I wouldn't draft him in the first round. I probably would wait, but until like maybe the fourth or fifth round, probably after you get a quarterback, is my opinion. But they do have a defense. They do have a pretty good defense. But there's just some questions about them. That just makes it very hard for me to rank them the top five. That's just my opinion. So, I mean, Bills, Bucks, Rams, Chiefs. I mean, probably could Chiefs at five. That might sound a little crazy, but that's probably how I put the Chiefs at five. And then I gotta find another team that would be. I would say the Bengals probably there too, or the Chargers. Actually, I think they're going to be electrifying this year. So if you want to hear about my top five teams, you guys can let me know in the comments below. I think the Bills, Bucks definitely should be like number one, number two. Bills, Rams, Chargers, probably. And I think if I had to do first in would probably be the Chiefs. I mean, I do think the Chargers do have a better roster than the Chiefs right this year. I think a good top five right now, at least, but that definitely could change. If you guys want to let me know what you think of that, do you guys think that the Chargers are a good team this year? Do you think they're better than the Chiefs? Let me know. All right. What do you guys think? Do you guys think the Chargers are good? Typically, Chargers will choke one way or the other, not a winning franchise. Yeah, they're not a winning franchise, but I think the biggest factor you have to take into consideration for them is Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert is one of the faces of the NFL this year, which is why I kind of put them as like they have a potential a shot to win a Super Bowl. I think they've definitely got a lot of talent. They improved in a lot of areas from a year ago. I think improving from on that defensive side, the defense was atrocious last year. It was actually worse than the Chiefs defense. But the Chargers do have, I think they have a good team, a good enough team now where I would feel safe in saying, yeah, I think this is a really good team this year. I like a lot about the team. I think Khalil Mack definitely helps a lot. JC Jackson in the corner. I mean, I really do. I really do think the Chargers can be a contender. Now, does that mean they're going to win it? Probably not the first year, if I'm, being brutally honest. But what I like about the Chargers is I like their swag. I think Justin Herbert's a baller, absolute baller. Austin Eckler, when they need to run the ball, he's very capable of running the ball. So I think that helps. Mike Williams actually might be a better receiver to draft in your fantasy league this year than Keenan Allen, who's been taken quite early in the early rounds. So those are definitely ones to think about in that case. So yeah, they're definitely a legit contender. I don't know if they can win per se in the biggest Super Bowl. It can be tough. I think if anything, if the Chargers do make it, I think their biggest foe that they'll be facing is the Bucks and the Rams, of course. I think those are like two teams in the NFC side of the league that they will struggle with if they do make it. Those are like the top two teams in the NFC side. But I like the Chargers this year. I think they've got a lot bright future. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. The Bengals are an absolute phenomenal team. I mean, they're them and the Chargers, they're both all right. As we all know, they're not winning franchises. We all do know that already. Definitely not winning franchises. But what we do know about them is that right now they're better than some of the teams in their own division who's been dominant for like the last 10 years. Like in the AFC North. I mean, the Steelers were up there, the Ravens were up there. So now the Bengals have been losing franchise for quite a while when they had Andy Dalton. So um, no, but definitely they've definitely improved on the O line. Not a whole lot, but they definitely fixed that offensive line significantly enough to be able to, be able to protect Joe Burrow and be able to give him time. If you watch some of the games last year, you would be scratching your head thinking like, how in the world did this team make it to the Super Bowl with such a terrible, terrible offensive line? I'm serious. It was actually worse than the Giants' offensive line. I think they were the worst offensive line in the league last year. Really do. So they definitely can win a Super Bowl. I mean, definitely have all around the league think the defense is actually very underrated. I don't know why there's not enough teams that or not enough people that give them the credit that they deserve on defense because a lot of it really did was on the defense last year that helped them get to the Super Bowl, of course. But obviously, Joe Burrow helped that team out a lot. There was so much talent around them in both the running game with Wilson and T. Higgins. Um, Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd, like those are like his top guns. And CJ Uzama was kind of overrated. I don't really see Uzama was really anything special. Hence the reason why he got traded in the offseason. But no, the Chargers, they're like two teams that have not had, very not much success in the postseason since they've started their franchises. But they're both teams that definitely have improved on all the things that they were struggling with last year. So, there should really, they definitely can make themselves better. They definitely can be able to help themselves in terms of where they're going to be this year. So, I really would not be surprised if either one of them did make it to the Super Bowl again and possibly could win it. So that's a fair point to bring up. It is a fair point. I mean, they can definitely make a run again. Absolutely, they can. They have as good of a chance as anybody in that AFC side. That AFC side is crazy with all those teams. So I really would not be too shocked if they were able to, go back to the big game again and possibly winning it. So no, I definitely see your point of view. Any other takers? Okay, so I'm not for whatever reason. I'm gonna have to probably do this on my phone just because I can't get the screen to share for whatever reason. So I'm gonna pull it up on my phone and just do it that way. Because honestly, I'm kind of losing a little bit of patience, and I'm a pretty patient person for the most part. So I'm gonna have to pull it up on my phone. But I'm definitely making sure that you guys are staying alive and being able to stay. I'm sorry if it's not been the greatest so far, but I'm definitely trying to do everything I can to make sure that this live stream does work and is successful. So I'm definitely going to be able to get started. So I'm gonna have to do it through my phone here, and I'll be able to display it on the camera because I have a built-in camera. Just gotta find a okay. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see this. Up. All right, so it already started. Okay, so we're gonna get started with the first round here. So I believe I'm third pick. I believe should be should be loading any yeah soon. So I'll show you exactly how to draft and about like the boring stuff and this figured out. A little bit of frustration, but it's okay. We're doing okay. We're gonna get through it. I appreciate everybody that's been able to tune in. I appreciate everybody that's being able to stay on and be able to bear with me. I just want to keep everybody board forever with me. I can talk all day personally, so I appreciate all of your support and help. So thank you for that. Should be okay. So so it looks like I'm first choice. Okay. This is going to be interesting. So I'm first. We're going to be starting this in about a minute 25. So I'm the first pick. So I got to figure out who am I going to draft first? Am I going to go running back or am I going to go wide receiver? I think in this case, if you are running back or if you are the number one pick, uh, it's tough because really, you want Jonathan Taylor. You want Jonathan Taylor in the first round. If there's anybody that you think is going to be taken first, I think it's either going to be Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Cup as a wide receiver. Austin Eckler could be like a real one too that could be taken first. Jeffrey could be one that could be taken right away. Derrick Henry maybe. So I got to really think about this. So and I'm in right now, just so you guys know, I'm in a 14. Believe it's 14. Yeah, it's a 14 man mock draft that I'm in. So I'm definitely not gonna probably not really gonna probably get a lot of picks. So like real early picks. So it's definitely gonna hurt a lot, but we're gonna definitely do the best that we can to be able to draft. So I'm starting in about 10 seconds. While you guys are waiting, leave a comment down below. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Be able to watch. Be sure to watch all my other channels and all my other videos that I've posted so far. So that'll be good. Okay, so Jonathan Taylor's on the board, so I'm first. I think if you are gonna go running back, definitely want Jonathan Taylor. If you are gonna choose first and you want a wide receiver, you're gonna want Cooper Cup first, or Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. Um, so in this case, I have like 10 seconds left. I think I'm gonna go with Jonathan Taylor to go for the first round. So I just picked Jonathan Taylor. If you saw that right now, so I got Jonathan Taylor. So I took him right off the board. So I'm gonna go over to the draft order so far. I should be able to check others. So I'm not going to be up again for a while. JT is my pick pick number 1 overall. Yeah, I mean definitely. I mean if you are going to go running back, I mean you definitely do want to take Jonathan Taylor first. I had him last year on my fantasy league and he definitely was the difference maker for my fantasy team last year. Of course besides Josh Allen, Mark Andrews and there was another one too that was good. Debo Samuel. Like those were like I was in an 8-man league last year, and those were like 4 of my best players from a year ago. So right now I'm 18 picks away, so I don't get to pick again until this tour. I pick last in the second round. So Najee Harris just went. Najee Harris, another big sleeper for fantasy this year. I think Najee Harris is gonna do pretty well this year with all the circumstances that he's got, even without not even having a defense, or I'm sorry, not even having like a real, consistent quarterback, having a bridge quarterback. I think the Steelers are going to really go hard in terms of their run game this year. One think about to take in your league this year, depending on where you're seated. So Saquon was just taking running back. So next, looking at wide receivers. So right now, the best ones right now that I could potentially get is Tyreek Hill, Michael Pittman, Debo Samuel, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, AJ Brown, um, Mike Williams, or Allen Robinson. Might sound not too good when I say this, but I personally I had Tyreek Hill last year on my fantasy team, and he was wildly inconsistent. Wildly inconsistent. In terms of fantasy, he was not able to really be a huge playmaker for me. So I'm definitely not going to be drafting him this year, unless if I have to. Unless if I absolutely have to, and I'm left with no other good receivers. I do not plan on drafting him this year in fantasy. That might sound crazy, but even with Tua, I still don't think Tua's, really going to really be able to assist Tyreek in the way that he really needs. So, okay, so I'm next now. And Josh Allen, he was my quarterback, so I was hoping I would be able to take him, but I'm not going. But now he's taken, so I'm next. So running back, wide receiver. So the top one left, Tyreek Hill was just taken. So now I'm left with Michael Pittman, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, AJ Brown, Mike Williams. I'm going to probably take. So those are my receivers right now that I could take. I know some of them with even the ones with questionable on it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be out for a long term. They could start in week one. So I think T. Higgins had a pretty good year last year, and I was dumb for dropping him in my team last year. So I'm going to take T. Higgins as my second pick, and I get to pick again. I would probably pick. I don't know. I mean, you never really know until the season starts of who's really going to be like a top gear. I'm going to probably take Mike Williams. I'm going to take Mike Williams on that one. I think this is going to be really good. So I think if you're going to lean towards a quarterback in your fantasy, definitely do him. Definitely do the quarterback in the third or fourth round. Last year how I did it, because I wanted to make sure I got Josh Allen last year. I took him early in the third round. I believe it was the early in the third round or something, or later in the third round. Yeah, so I wanted to make sure that I would get him because I knew he was going to be a top gun in fantasy this year. So I definitely would encourage you to get a quarterback in either the third or fourth round. So far I've got T. Higgins, Mike Williams, Jonathan Taylor. That's all I have so far. So now I got to pay attention to the quarterbacks, and the quarterbacks could start going soon. And yes, so Justin Herbert was already taken. That was going to be my second choice. So I'm left with Lamar Jackson, who could have a really, really good fantasy. He's really capable of good fantasy football. So that definitely could be one to keep an eye on. Patrick Mahomes, he was not really anything special last year in fantasy. I know someone in my league who had him last year. So he was a little inconsistent last year. Not a little, he was very inconsistent last year. He wasn't really able to get to like the points that he was projected to get to in the season. He was kind of up and down a lot and threw a lot of picks. So, um, and not that throwing the picks is a bad thing, but he also wasn't as accurate as he was in past years, or he wasn't like getting through with like lucky passes or anything. So, I mean, I would probably take him, but it's not at the end of the world if he is taken, because there's other quarterbacks to look forward to in fantasy. I think Lamar could definitely help you out in terms of run game. He definitely can be really good in fantasy. He could in terms of rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. He could definitely help you out there. Jalen Hurts is also still on the board, as you can see. Still on the board. Joe Burrow. Yeah, I would say Joe Burrow is gonna definitely make some big jumps this year in fantasy, and I would say by next year he's gonna be at least top 4 uh, fantasy quarterbacks for next year. So that's still good. And Lamar Jackson was just taken, so Lamar. There's still Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is actually good in fantasy, so he really could do some things. And now that he has AJ Brown, that's definitely going to help a lot. Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray. I'm not crazy on Kyler Murray. I probably would avoid drafting him. Tom Brady, I would. I think last year Tom Brady was very consistent. He had some really good games, but towards the end of the season, he kind of stumbled a little bit, and a lot of it really wasn't his fault. It was more of his injuries to his best receivers like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, who got hurt towards the end of the year, like his top guns. So but he wouldn't be a bad idea to draft in fantasy though. I probably would draft him. So I'm up next. So now I definitely gotta do a quarterback now because Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, those two are already taken. So I'm left with either Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Tom Brady. Yeah, those are like really the last three capable starting quarterbacks. So I'm probably gonna take, and like I said, even if they're questionable, it's not that big of a deal because they're probably very likely not going to be out the whole year. And if they were already out for a significant time, it would already tell you. So yeah, I'm going to take Joe Burrow. I'm going to take Joe Burrow, and I get the pick again. So I'm going to pick another running back, and another running back. The best top one on this list right here is Antonio Gibson. I'm going to take Antonio Gibson for that, or I could take Miles Sanders too for the Eagles in fantasy. Devin Singletary. Don't take Edwards-Helaire. I had him last year, Edwards-Helaire, and I dropped him because he got hurt. So I'm going to take Antonio Gibson, actually. I think Antonio Gibson is super underrated. So, okay. So far, I'm going to show you what I've got. I've got Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Mike Williams, Jonathan Taylor, and Antonio Gibson. So I have a pretty decent roster right now. I mean, it's definitely not top notch, but definitely not too bad of a start for me. So now I need a tight end. I don't know if there was any tight ends that were taken yet. Yeah, so all the top ones are taken already, except for the tight ends. Now I need a tight end. So the top uh, tight ends I'm going to take. There's Dalton Schultz. There is who could actually have a good year. Dawson Knox, another really really good one. I definitely probably would take him. Let's see, Zach Ertz. Not too. I mean, I liked him when he was with the Eagles, but I think he's a little older now. I don't really think he's really. I don't think he's really going to be as explosive this year. Pat Fryermuth, he could be good. He could be a good tight end actually. For the Steelers, I would probably take him too. Cole Kmet actually is pretty underrated. Honestly, I kind of like Cole Kmet. Um, but I don't know how often Justin Fields is going to throw to him. So but we'll see. You never really know. David Njoku, I probably would pass on him. Hunter Henry. Actually, Hunter Henry is actually not a bad pick either if you're able to get him. So now Dallas Goddard was just taken and Dalton Schultz was taken. Tyler Hugby could be a good one. Mike Gesicki. Yeah, I like Mike Gesicki. He could actually do some good things this year. Austin Hooper. Now, I would probably take him. He's with the Titans now. Um, Tannehill's going to have a down year this year now that he doesn't have A.J. Brown. I would avoid him. Evan Ingram, absolutely not. Um, Gerald Everett. He probably wouldn't be a bad choice, honestly. All right, I'm up in 6 picks. So my next player is going to be Dawson Knox. If he does not take, if he is not taken, if he is taken, then my next few choices I could take is Fryermuth or Komet or Henry. I think Hunter Henry could be pretty good too this year, or Higbee or Gesicki. So there are some decent tight ends left over. So I'm not too worried. if Dawson Knox is already taken, but I think with 4 picks left, I gonna be like it won't be too bad. I'm sorry again, I had to do this on my phone. Just could not get the screen. Next live stream that I do though, I'm gonna make sure that I do get these figured out and ensure that, this something like this does not happen again. Otherwise, I probably would have more people coming in. So he should be up in another 3 picks. 2 picks now. Sorry, I'm just looking through to see. So Dawson Knox is looking good for Dawson Knox. If he does not get taken, which he probably would. And you give him so here. So 5 seconds left for user Donnie. All right, good. So Dawson Knox gone. Now I got to do a flex. Let's see who's left in the flex. Elijah Moore could be a good one. Brandon Ayuk, I probably would avoid him. Hunter Renfro, I had Hunter Renfro last year. He could actually be really good. Devontae Smith, up and down, but he wouldn't be my first flex. I'm gonna take Hunter Renfro for the flex. I think that's a good pick right there. All right, so I'll go over the roster again. So I've got Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Mike Williams, Jonathan Taylor, Antonio Gibson, Dawson Knox, Hunter Renfro. So actually a pretty good roster so far. I'm not gonna lie. Renfro's really good. I had Renfro last year. I picked him up in during last season, and he was very good. Definitely was very consistent, and there was times I kind of could kick myself in the butt. Sometimes I was sometimes I would just be very, self conscious about who I'm gonna pick in my draft, or who I would pick in, who I would be able to play this year. I'm definitely not disappointed. But let me just check real quick to see who else was left in flex. So Brandon Ayuk, I probably would avoid. Kareem Hunt, actually, I like Kareem Hunt. Um, don't know how often he's going to get touches this year. But he wouldn't be a bad one to get either if as a backup, really. If anything happens to Nick Chubb, which is very likely because Nick Chubb usually gets hurt a lot. So I'm glad I got Renfro because there's not a whole lot left on the backup end of things. So definitely not. Oh, I forgot about some. Oh, yeah, there were some of them I forgot about that I didn't realize were still there. So if Pat Fryermuth was gone, would have hoped that would have been a good. Um, he would have been a good one too, honestly, to take. So now I need a defense. Now I need a defense, and then I'm gonna do. Yeah, I need a defense now, and then I can start building off of bench players. And honestly, just keep in mind too, you don't. I wouldn't pick a kicker until your very last pick. There's no reasons to really take a kicker early unless you really, really want reliable kickers like a Justin Tucker or Harrison Bucker is actually very good too. But right now he's questionable, but he should be able to play. But I think the kicker really is the last resort that you really need to grab, and you can always pick one up later on. There's always usually consistent, some decent kickers that are left over anyway. So even if you don't um, get a backup kicker, it's really not the end of the world because there's always free agency that you can come up in. So I've definitely got a pretty good roster, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, this is actually a pretty good roster. Um, so now I just got to see what's left in defense. So the Bucks and the Niners defense were both taken already. And those were like the two I was hoping for. So next we have the Chargers, the Patriots, as you can see, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Bengals, Vikings, Cowboys, Pittsburgh. All right, so now it's my pick. I don't know how. I mean, I liked what the Chargers have done this year in terms of picking up a lot of good players and everything, but I don't think they're the most reliable yet. I don't know if I completely trust them. So I think with this in mind, and I already said that they're going to be a top 5 or top 10 defense this year, I'm going to pick the Ravens to be my defense. So now I'm going to go to see who I got for wide receivers left. All right, so I've got Elijah Moore, Devontae Smith, Christian Kirk, Tyler Lockett. I'm gonna take Tyler Lockett. I know he doesn't have a consistent quarterback with Drew Lock. I think Drew Lock is probably the worst starting quarterback right now in the league, but I think Tyler Lockett is still good, and I think either him or DK Metcalf are the only two that he's probably going to be, relying on now. So because they're like the two of the best players on that team. They still have a good roster, but the quarterback play is just absolutely atrocious. So now I got to pick a good backup quarterback. Probably, yeah, I probably should take a quarterback, or do I take another running back or another receiver? Naheem Hines, that was going to be one I was going to take too as a backup. He could be an excellent flex player. So not a whole lot of running backs, not a lot of good backs left. Or Jamal Williams for Detroit, or Michael Carter for the Jets. Believe it or not, Michael Carter. So that's the top one left. I'm probably going to take him. I'm going to take Michael Carter. And then another receiver. Ooh, not a whole lot left, but there's Chase Claypool. Not bad. He's not terrible, but he's definitely not the greatest. I mean, well, he is a good receiver. He's just very immature, though, but he's not good in fantasy. Tyler Boyd, meh. Devontae Parker, maybe. Uh, let's try Devontae Parker. Oh, oh, who they give me? I wasted too long. Oh, they put in a kicker for me, Jake Elliott, as kicker. Darn. I thought I would have been able to get a receiver, but I think out of Claypool, when Drake London was already taken, that stinks because I thought he would have been and he probably would have been a pretty decent one. George Pickens could be a good one too for this year. Devontae Parker, Tyler Boyd. So I definitely have to get another receiver next. I have to get a receiver. So if Devontae Parker is left, I'm going to take him. Or do I go? Or do I pick rookie? Go with the rookie. I might not have any other choice because I don't think Claypool is really anything special in fantasy. I could be wrong. I mean, I think Claypool could probably still be your free agent. Who was gone? Someone else was just gone too. I forget who it was, but he's gone now. Devontae Parker still in with 10 picks left. Jacoby Myers, not a big fan of Jacoby Myers. Wouldn't really draft him, honestly. Traylon Burks. Do I go Traylon Burks? So, Marquez Valdez Scantling. He's questionable right now. Traylon Burks is questionable right now. Jarvis Landry, no, I wouldn't take him. Isaiah McKenzie, no. I mean, I think Isaiah McKenzie's more of if you're planning on evaluating points in terms of defense, like with special teams and everything. I think he's one of the return men. If you plan on doing it with him, I probably wouldn't take Isaiah McKenzie. With Jarvis Landry now, I probably wouldn't worry about him. Kenny Galladay, no, honestly, I wouldn't take him. So I need another receiver. Okay, so Devontae Parker was just taken. So do I I might be left. I might have to go with George Pickens. So top one left is Jacoby Myers, George Pickens, Traylon Burks, Nico Collins. I'm gonna have to take George Pickens if he's still there. I'm up in 2 picks, so I'm hoping he's still there. All right, he's still there, so I'm gonna take Pickens. So I've got. I still need another receiver, honestly. Rondell Moore, no, I wouldn't take him. I'm just gonna have to take Kenny Galladay. Did I take him? Nope, and I was too late again. I don't know who they even gave me. Austin Hooper is a tight end. Yeah, I mean he could be a good tight end, but I really needed a receiver, and I really need a backup too. Who do I have left as backups? All right, so backup quarterbacks left is Jared Goff. Yeah, Hooper is a decent tight end. He might actually be good, but I really needed a receiver. Jared Goff for backup quarterbacks. They'll have to be my last choice. So Jared Goff, Jameis Winston, Ryan Tannehill. No, I wouldn't even worry. I had Ryan Tannehill as my backup last year. He was not very good, so I wouldn't take Ryan Tannehill. Mac Jones. Mac Jones was actually, in terms of fantasy, he didn't really do a whole lot in fantasy last year, but that was really his rookie year. He might actually do better this year. Although they're saying now he's struggling offensively, but don't let the headlines kid you around. Carson Wentz. No, I won't take Carson Wentz as a backup. Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota's. Nah, I wouldn't take him either. Mayfield, we don't even know if he's even. Actually, no, they already said today that he's starting. So Sean Watson suspended. Zach Wilson is injured right now. I don't even know if he's to even be able to play in week one. So Mac Jones was taken. Trubisky, maybe. He hasn't really played in a while, so I don't even think he's really going to start a whole year. Drew Lock, absolutely not. Geno Smith, no. Kobe Brissett, we'll see. Deshaun Watson, you can't take right now because he's suspended. Unless you're going to keep him in for half your season. I'm going to do that left. So let's see who's. Actually, let's see. Those are my receivers left. Rondell Moore. Just take Julio Jones just for the heck of it. Who knows? Brady might be able to put him back on the map this year. And a backup quarterback, Carson Wentz. I might have to actually take Carson Wentz, actually, because I don't really think Marcus Mariota is really anything going to do much this year. Baker Mayfield, now, I don't think he's really good in fantasy. Carson Wentz really isn't either, but I'm going to have to take Carson Wentz. So I just took Carson Wentz. Yeah, I think Julio could be diamond in the rough. I think Julio might have um some potential this year. I'm not like I definitely wouldn't take him out of any of the other players that I do have right now. Like unless if those players obviously have a bye week and I have to. I think the only time like Julio's going to explode is if Evans and Godwin's going to be out for a while, so Julio could actually be a good difference maker for the Bucks offense. With even with Godwin not being there. So okay, so here's my roster. We'll see what kind of grade. I'll show the grade at the end. So I've got starting quarterback. I've got Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Mike Williams, Jonathan Taylor, Antonio Gibson is my second running back. Dawson Knox, Hunter Renfro, Jake Elliott is my kicker. I have the Ravens defense, which I think will be a solid defense. I'm honestly, you don't need to even really need to worry about um, defense as much or drafting a backup defense because there's always defenses that are always going to be around no matter what. So don't worry about the defenses too much. Tyler Lockett is a backup. He could be pretty solid. Michael Carter, definitely a decent running back. I think he could do some things this year. George Pickens, he could actually be one of the best rookie receivers this year. So wouldn't be too shocked about him if he does well. Austin Hooper, decent tight end. Not really. I don't think Ryan Tannehill's a bad quarterback, but I think with that offensive line kind of looking a little bit worse than they were a year ago, definitely could hurt them. So we'll see about that. And then I have Julio Jones. He could be good early in the season, very early in the season, as long as he stays healthy. And then Carson Wentz is my last choice because I needed a backup quarterback. Yeah, so he's not off. They don't have the same bye week, so that's good. Um, yeah. So I'll show you guys real quick as far as the grade that I got for the draft. I don't think that was really. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I honestly don't think that was a bad draft at all, personally, for being a 14-man league, and I think that was a pretty decent draft for me, actually. So we'll see what kind of grade I got for that draft. I'm not really expecting it to be really anything too crazy, but I think it'll be good enough. Yeah, thank you. Thanks. We'll see if I can get any of those players in our 8-man league this year. So for my next live stream, I got to be able to get this figured out. For the next live stream, I'm definitely going to have to be able to make graphics. I got to make sure that I share my screen well. That way I don't have to use everything. So I definitely do need to update on everything, but not a terrible first live stream. Definitely not what I was hoping for. I really thought it was going to be a lot better. But these things happen. I will get better at this eventually. So we'll see what happens. There's always next time for the next. I could possibly be making other videos as well. So I'll try again with another live stream sometime. If there's anybody on there that knows a little bit about Stage 10 and why I wasn't able to share, because I was able to, when you go down to live destinations, it was able to show you like YouTube, the YouTube symbol and the Yahoo Sports, and I was able to click and it says it's going live, and I'm showing through like my screen, the live screen of like my screen actually showing with the mock drafts. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it's not showing on this screen here, but if anybody is able to answer that question for me, let me know in the comments down below if you're able to help me out with that. Or I could actually potentially ask on, the internet as well. I know that I'm friends with a lot of people. I know some that do live streams a lot, so they might have a better idea as far as like what I need to do to make sure that my graphics are playing. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I'm very sorry about the technical difficulties. I don't know why it wasn't working tonight, but yep. Thank you, brother Joseph. I'll definitely be editing this video out tonight. Probably I don't know if I'll post this tonight. I don't know if it's gonna air. I don't know if it's gonna be exactly released after, but I do appreciate you being live. I know there were some people that were leaving. I think the most we had so far was 6 people watching. So I apologize for everybody who was, definitely getting antsy about it. But you know, we're gonna get started. We're gonna definitely try more of this. I'm definitely gonna try and do a test run of it next time, so that way, you know, I'll be able to work out with these things better. So that way, I come more prepared and ensure that we have a good draft. We have a good one. So yeah, so I appreciate that comment, Joseph. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now I'm just waiting on an email. I should already get an email from Yahoo Sports to show. I think I might have just gotten it now. Did I? No, I haven't gotten it yet. Okay. Normally I would get an email, but I haven't gotten one yet. It might take a little bit. We'll get these. I'll get this figured out for next time, I think. Any other questions? Do you guys have any other questions for me? No? Let's see. I'll check again one more time just to see. I should get an email. I really should get an email from them any minute. Usually they do, and I actually do these mock drafts a lot, to be honest with you. So, hmm, I haven't gotten any results yet. So I might try now. Any other questions, guys? All right. Well, make sure before you leave, make sure to subscribe down below to this channel if you like to see more NFL content. Make sure you subscribe to this channel down below. Make sure you put a like on this video. Be sure to leave any comments or suggestions, and if you'd like to send me a message, feel free. If you have any questions for me, definitely message me through here as well. But I hope you all had a great night. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I appreciate to those who are watching, and I appreciate to everybody that was having patience as far as ensuring, trying to make sure that this live stream was playing. So thank you, and we will see you. So this is JP Fanatics signing off. Thank you.